Hey everyone, and I'm traveling to tropical islands in search of new adventures and testing my survival skills. I will spend a whole week on this island, and my main task is to find food and fresh water to survive. I will make a primitive spear for underwater hunting. I'll encounter real danger in the wild jungles, and also make some improvements to my cave for a more comfortable stay. Well, friends, welcome once again to my cave, which I've chosen for more permanent living, so I will be furnishing this cave. Today, I want to make myself a bamboo sunbed, which will be my bed for the night to keep me away from the damp sand. I will also definitely take my spear and go into the ocean to hunt for fish, because I need to catch something to eat today. Well, do you recognize it, friends? Yes, it's the shore where I celebrated my new year. I think the idea of burning trash in a bonfire is simply pointless. I can't keep up with it all. I think we all really need to think about what we're doing because very soon we're all going to live here. Under similar conditions in our cities and countries, there will be tons of garbage. It's horrible, just horrible. Nevertheless, many people ask and wonder why it is so. I'll explain. Look, in Asian countries, it's a global issue, I think, as it is in many countries of the world already. The situation is such that there are factories and plants on the islands, and they are almost always located near a source of fresh water, that is, rivers on the islands, and waste and all production products usually end up in these rivers, which are very dirty, and it's very dangerous to drink water from them. And where does all this dirt go? The river flows into the ocean, so all this dirt and all these wastes go into the ocean. Also, in tropical countries there are very heavy rains, and if rains start, it's a very heavy downpour. So all the garbage from the island is washed into these neighboring rivers, which are on the island. That is, when the downpour starts, the water level rises very high, and all the garbage is washed into these rivers. And the rivers, like a highway, direct it all back into the ocean. When tides start, there's a very large difference in water levels, that is, up to 2 meters difference. Of course, when the tide comes in, it takes all this with it. And when the tide goes out, it pulls it all into the open ocean. All this trash from the rivers from the island goes into the open ocean. Also, there are very strong currents in the Indian and Pacific Oceans where a lot of trash gets accumulated into massive islands of garbage. I've seen this myself while fishing. It's just huge, massive islands of garbage brought together by the currents. The currents carry them, and during the tide, they get washed up on nearby islands, small ones, inhabited or uninhabited. Naturally, on those islands where there is no civilization, where there's no one to clean up, all this garbage just keeps accumulating. Animals can't clean it up and people don't go there. There's no tourism, so there's no reason to clean it up. This is why on uninhabited islands like here and also in Cambodia, you keep asking me the same question. If these places are uninhabited, why is there so much trash? Because we're the ones doing this. We're loading our nature and it all accumulates bit by bit and gets washed up on islands where there are no people, no civilization, and we're polluting the wilderness. So, friends, before you write something mean or get angry at someone in the comments, just think about the last time you were relaxing somewhere in nature, in a park or fishing. Did you pick up all your trash? It would be much more useful than getting angry at people in the comments. So let's start with ourselves and try to take our trash with us after relaxing. And also, if you've collected your trash, don't be lazy. And pick up someone else's trash as well and throw it away somewhere in civilization where it will be picked up and recycled. Here's another very good piece, which could be a basis, but it's very long. I'll take about 2 meters, just to be safe. I'll cut it off somewhere here. The saw cuts very well, but the blade is not long enough, meaning if the blade was longer, it would be better. By the way, here's a rope that can be used to tie all this together. Alright, perfect! I'll just saw off this broken piece. Good. We need to pile everything up and tie it together. I'll be dragging it to the cave later. Here's a decent rope. It has lots of small strands. Look, if I use this rope, I can later separate it into small fibers, into small ropes, and use them in the cave. So I'll take this piece to tie up the bamboo. Friends, about the lip incident. You were worried, thank you very much, but everything actually got resolved easier than I expected. By the time I got to the cave, my lip began to deflate. When I got there, I took a picture of my lip and sent it to my friend. He works at the local clinic where I had previously reported a spider bite. I sent him the photo and explained the situation, described the wild wasps that had bitten me, and he said it's bad, it's really bad if you have an allergy. Their bite is quite strong and painful, but I didn't have an allergy, and I was really lucky. By the time I got to the cave, my lip had already started to deflate. And when I sent him the before and after photos, he said it's most likely getting better because you don't have an allergy, but also said that if you notice any rise in temperature or complications, urgently leave the island and go to the hospital, or if you still have them, take allergy medicine, the ones I used when the spider bit me. Whew, the water level is rising again. So it tossed some logs into the cave. And I see a big bottle. That's good. I can basically make a seat around the fire with the logs and a fish trap with the bottle. Plenty of ideas. Hoga doce hoga. Mwah. Well, I've finally dragged some bamboo to my cave, so it's time to take a little swim and refresh myself and maybe do some hunting. I need to catch something to eat today, so I'm grabbing my spear and off to battle. The water is very murky after the rain, unlike usual. The heavy rain has stirred it up. I don't know what I'll manage to catch, but I don't have many options, so I need to fish something to get something to eat. So off we go, friends. Friends, this is all I managed to catch. I place it closer to the camera so it looks bigger, but actually the fish is very small and there's only one. The water is very, very murky. You can't see anything from the surface. Only when you go down to the bottom near the rocks. Then you can see something. And obviously, it can see you too. So, I only managed to catch one small fish. At least it's something. I'll cook it tonight. Bats are flying around. I'll grab my fire starter. Need to light a fire. Here's my catch. I'll put it on the coals, let it grill a bit.
Ow. Oh yeah.
Finally, the fish is ready.
Ngon.
It's hot, but very tasty. I'm as hungry as a dog. Tomorrow I'll catch a lot of fish, try to catch a moray eel. I need more food. This is not enough. Morally, of course, it lifts the spirit that it's necessary, but as a source of food, it's too little. But my spear works.
Oh.
It's already 3 o'clock in the morning. I don't want to sleep at all. At 6 o'clock the sun will rise and I won't be able to sleep when it's light. Because the sun starts to warm up. So now I'll eat and rest. This needs to be saved for sure. These ropes will come in handy anyway. And so, the main thing will be this. I wonder if the length will be enough. Now I need thinner bamboo. This will do. 3 more medium crossbars. I think I need to split this piece into 2 parts. It will be moderately rigid, but at the same time it will be flexible. Yes, like this. I'll split it all in the middle. Great, so I don't kill my knife completely. There it goes. I crack it open a little with my knife. Each bamboo knot needs to be passed like this because a crack goes and then it hits a knot. And this knot needs a little help from my knife because it can break right where it is not needed. Done. Now I still have 1 crossbar, a second one, and I need 1 more of the same length in the middle. I'll take it from this bamboo. This piece is rotten, to be honest. Maybe it's better from this one. It seems to be of the right length. So there are 3 pieces. I'll split another one, this one, into 2 parts. Alright, now I need to weave this inside the lounge chair, then I'll see how many pieces I'm missing and add them. Firstly, I need to choose the more or less live pieces. Here's a good one, and now look, it goes in a checkered pattern. 1, 2, and this way I weave the first element. The main thing is to level all this. I insert the first element here and it's all shaking now. But if I take the second element and repeat this procedure at once after about 10 centimeters, but in reverse order, then it tightens it by itself. And no need to tie it at all. And here I already get the first weave that fixes the beginning of my lounge chair. And now the next piece. If I had it in this order, it means now I'm going under the bottom, under the top, under the bottom, like this. Alright, and now all this needs to be tapped down there and this way. Such a construction turns out great. Now it needs to be tied a little at the corners so it doesn't spread, and then I'll reinforce and tighten all this with lianas so I don't fall through. But the base of my bed is ready. Today in the first half of the day, I managed to catch a small fish. This is the one you saw in the last episode. It was small, and it wasn't enough for me. So I decided to do a little more underwater hunting. The water after the rain was murky. Visibility was very poor. Only when I got very close to the fish could I see it. But it saw me earlier and therefore fled. Because of the poor visibility, I had only misses. I also noticed that during murky water, moray eels come out to hunt. In just 10 minutes of my swim, I saw 3, but they were very small. I did not lose hope and tried to catch something else. Miss after miss, my fighting spirit dimmed a bit. I decided to finish my hunt and go do something useful, namely, continue building my Dakota fire pit. It will be both my kitchen and my source of heat at night. Friends, what the see-through on the shore? This is a monster. Look, it's huge. Well, just a very big grouper. I think it was about 10 kilograms. Just a monster. I caught such a one in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. If you are interested, you can watch it on my channel. There is a video. Very strong fish. Yes, it's a pity that so far I have not caught such underwater. Just a huge carcass of some grouper. If the meat was somewhat fresh, it could be cut off and cooked, but it's been here for a long time. So it's clearly not an option. Right now, my task is to find a thick enough piece of bamboo to make an air duct for my Dakota fire pit. But I can use this piece, make another bowl from it to collect water in. It's very good, thick, reliable. But finding things like this usually isn't good. This is someone's broken boat. I hope the fishermen who were on this boat are okay, because finding pieces like this on the shore is actually a bit creepy and scary. I hope they are alright. I will also gather some coconut husk along the way. It's very good for starting a fire. I have dry branches, but for the start, for initial kindling, it won't hurt. So I also save it. And this piece that I found, I will use it as an air duct outlet for my Dakota fire pit. It would be good to find an empty dry coconut. I want to try to boil water in it. Whether it is possible or not, I will experiment, try to boil water in bamboo and a coconut. I wonder what this was. And if I find a wide enough piece of board, I'll take it with me because I will need to make an underwater gun. For the first time in my life, I will probably use this device as intended. They wrote to me in the comments that it's convenient to drag bundles of firewood with this hook. So I'll test it. Balance it, pick it up and carry it. Here I will need to gather vines. Woohoo! To further reinforce my bed, make it denser, and if I manage to make what I want, a strong enough base. Later, it will be possible to collect empty plastic bottles, inflate air in them, and fix them under my sun lounger to make a raft. Whoa! Let's run! There are lots of little crabs. I will definitely make a trap later. Catch them and cook them. Wow, the elements are raging. Washing off my feet. Wow. You have to move fast here and not linger. I'm almost at my destination. Wow. I need to wait for a pause now. Let's go. Finally. Well, on the highest part of my cave, I'm going to build a Dakota stove. For example, this balcony will be a great spot for my campfire. It's a good place. But when there's a big wave, it can break down my entire stove. Rain should also not reach my campfire because there's a large porch here. The cave is deep and I think it will be just right. To start the fire, I'll immediately hide the coconut in a place that is inaccessible to the ocean somewhere around here. I'll place it on the upper shelves so that it can ventilate and dry properly. I'll also fold the rope here next to my previous rope in this niche. As for the large bamboo, I just need to break it because it has very thick wall. So there's no point in sawing on it with a knife. From this fragment, I want to make a bowl for collecting water. It's dense and sturdy, without cracks, and it shouldn't let water pass through. The main thing is to make holes here, but that will come later. Right now, I'll focus on building the stove. I need to split this bamboo fragment. The crack has started. I need to apply more force. Oh. Finally. It's a very thick fragment. Now I need to remove these small cross pieces from the middle of the bamboo to create a tunnel through which air will enter my hearth. I'll use a knife and a small board as a hammer. I'll make holes here, and when I fold this bamboo together, it will become a pipe. The inner part, this crosspiece in the knot, is much softer than the bamboo itself. I was worried that I might have problems with it, but it's actually quite easy to fix. Here's a life hack. You don't need to damage the knife blade. I'll level it a bit to create more holes for better airflow. When making a Dakota hearth, I must admit that I did it a long time ago in my childhood, and I'm not sure if I'll do it very well this time. But usually, according to the rules, if the depth of your hearth is about 30 centimeters, the air duct should be at least twice as long, so 60 centimeters or a meter. The longer the better. Even 2 meters would be great to ensure good draft in your air duct. By closing it, you can regulate the power of your campfire. Great! I've decided to make an effort and raise the stove higher because there's a lot of water here. I'm sure every big wave will just flood this area, and it will always be wet, making it even more difficult to light the fire. So I'll probably make the hearth here, and I'll let the air duct go down like this. Yes, I think I'll create a stone well here, and my Dakota hearth will be inside, cozy and protected from the wind, but with enough air coming in through the air duct. Okay, I'll start building the outline of the hearth itself, which is also not easy to do. I'm recalling all the skills from building Lego sets, playing Tetris, and everything else combined to set up my hearth. It needs to be stable, because if you start a fire and it all collapses, it will be very inconvenient to move the hot stones along with your food. Everything should hold each other tightly and fit snugly. The main thing is to bend the backrest to avoid straining your lower back. Excellent. I also need to close this opening and raise it so that the air enters from below and provides a draft. This well should be higher and I need to extend the air duct even further. It's just the beginning. Well, at the moment I've created this mini stove with the main air duct going here. And here's the hearth itself. I'll make it smaller so that I don't have to spread the firewood all over the hearth, but rather make a small pile and cook a small fish. I'll try to close it off as much as possible. Now I want to gather some sand and fill the gaps to prevent air from entering through other openings. Only through the air duct. I hope you can see it. I've created this mini stove and tonight I'll test it out. I'll warm myself up mentally and cook some fish at the same time. Let's see how it goes. The ocean is very murky, the tide is high and the waves are strong. It's challenging to hunt in the muddy water. I couldn't catch any fish today. I've made the decision that relying solely on spearfishing will not work. Therefore, I need to make traps or use the spear for crabs or fish in cases when the water is murky. I encounter a lot of seaweed on the shore like this, and maybe some of you know what kind it is, because as far as I know, many seaweeds can be eaten as they contain iodine and beneficial vitamins, similar to some sea cabbage. However, I'm not entirely sure about these ones, and I wouldn't want to get poisoned. So if anyone knows what kind of seaweed this is, please write to me and let me know if it's edible or not. I could gather some vines to reinforce my beach chair. I could use plastic for that, but it's a long and uninteresting story. It's better to look for natural materials. Nature has already provided me with many interesting things. The main thing this time is to be more attentive to wasps, snakes, and other crawling creatures. Look at this vine, wow, it's cool! I immediately twisted into a coil. Not too tightly, I must admit, but I think when it dries on my beach chair, it will be a strong frame overall. I'll leave it here and pick it up on the way back. Let's move on. Oh, it's slippery here. If I could find some container right now, I would gather some clay to build my own oven. Alright, I need to make some noise so that different snakes and other crawling creatures know that I'm here and it's not a surprise for anyone. Not for me or the snakes. I don't need these sudden encounters. Come here, vine. I need you. I coiled the vine into a bundle. I also have another vine to weave my beach chair. Let's continue. Wow, it's so amazing here. If you could hear what I hear, the sounds of nature, it's indescribable. So many birds. By the way, it's interesting that I hear so many birds, but I don't see them. Interesting rocks. I need to look under them because if there's a coconut shell, there's likely a coconut thief, a big crab. I've seen small ones before. I showed them in a video. They were sitting in seashells. But when they come out of the shell, they grow up to 4 kilograms. Big ones. They love caves and rocks, and they always leave a coconut shell there for additional moisture. So there are no signs of them here. Well, I've collected a little bit and I'll finish it up later. I need to separate them somehow. I slowly start braiding. I'll start from this edge. Vines are much more elastic than bamboo. It's easier to work with. I hope it will be strong enough after it dries and give some additional rigidity to my structure, not just weight. In any case, it will be denser. I mean the bed. I won't sink into it because the whole point of this structure is to lift the bed on some rocks or logs and be further away from the damp, wet sand and crawling creatures like centipedes, spiders, snakes, and everything else. It will be much more peaceful to sleep this way, especially when little crabs crawl at night, and you keep getting startled, wondering if it's a snake or just a crab. That's better now. Well, it's already much improved. I won't sink in anymore, but I think I'll repeat the process a couple more times and seal all the gaps completely. The beach chair will become sturdier and more comfortable, and I'll be able to lie on it properly without sinking. So this is the beach chair I made, and next to it is a Dakota fire pit. I'll test it tonight, hoping to keep warm and cook my fish. I can't fall asleep at all. I don't know, the sound of the ocean is distracting and I have a lot of thoughts in my head. I decided to spend some time productively, take a walk, maybe catch a crab or a lobster will crawl onto the shore or the reef. There's a very low tide right now, about 2.5 meters from the shore. The water has receded, so there's a chance to find something extra. In any case, I'll take a stroll and then go to rest. My friends asked me if there are any dangerous snakes here. Here's the answer. There's a deadly snake called the flat-tailed snake. About 1.5 meters long, black, blue, white in color. I won't touch it, just showed it to you. You need to be very cautious and attentive at night. Stay away from the snake. I've disturbed it enough. I'm leaving. Don't want to cause any problems. Well, you understand. Of course, friends, hunting at night is actually dangerous. There are many crabs, many things around, but snakes also crawl onto the shore, which is very dangerous. However, they don't attack humans, they are not aggressive. But if I stepped on or disturbed its personal space, it could attack. Every time I want to take a night walk along the shore, I always think it's a bad idea because just now I was walking in the water and there was another flat-tailed snake or whatever it's called. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But it was a similar snake, just slightly smaller, black with white stripes and a blue shimmer. I know it's a sea snake, and it's quite dangerous, as I've told you many times before. Well, it's actually scary when you encounter it in the water. It becomes really frightening. Here's another fish trap. It looks very similar to a bullet, but at the same time, it could be some kind of stonefish variety. I better not touch it if I don't know for sure. It looks like it's not alive, but it actually is. Oh, it jumped out. Okay, friends, we've walked a bit, and it's better to rest instead of wandering around at night in the dark water on the rocks. Let's save some energy and catch something for ourselves tomorrow morning. I'm going to rest now.